In 2005, I got the flu. How did I get the flu? I got the flu from church. I went to church. Somebody who had not been at church the last weekend saw me, and then I shook their hand and said, "Why weren't you at church last week?" And they said, "We had the flu." Then I went home, and guess what? I got the flu. And for the next 6 days, I was on the couch, half dead. But guess what happened? I recovered. I went back to church 2 weeks later. I was good. You know why? Because most of the time, when you get sick, you recover. Let me say all that to say this. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. And just because I got the flu at church one day, many years ago, doesn't mean I never went back. Here's my point. Some people are saying, I can't possibly go back to church. I might get COVID. Really? COVID-19 is not a death sentence. I know we think it is because we have been told for a year and 3 months that this is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. For some people, sadly, it was, but not for everybody. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. According to the CDC, 99.98% of healthy people recover from COVID. So first you have to get COVID, then you can recover from COVID. And almost everybody does. Most people who get COVID-19 will recover. The overall rate of recovery from the CDC is 97 to 99.75%. So if you get COVID, you have a 0.25% chance of dying. That's less than 1%. That's a quarter of 1%. That's hardly anything. Now think of that. You have to have it first. And then once you get it, you still have less than 1% chance of dying from it. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. This past week, in fact, the CDC said that if you're under the age of 70, you have a 99% chance of recovery. But there is a problem for some people. The CDC actually reported that 78% of the people who were hospitalized with COVID were obese people or overweight people. And that makes you think, maybe COVID-19 is a wake-up call to the world to get healthy so that when things like this happen, we don't start to freak out and think they're going to kill us because we've taken care of ourselves. And it's kind of ironic that at the same time we learn that 78% of those who were hospitalized because of COVID were obese, a magazine like Cosmopolitan, which celebrates beauty, put on the cover this and this to suggest that obesity is beautiful. Really? Now who's ignoring the science? Are you picking up some key themes here? COVID-19 does not have to direct your life. You could direct your life. What about that? Now let's put the pieces together. To this moment, there are those who will not go to church because they may die from COVID. At the same time, they will not die from COVID 99.75% of the time, even if they get COVID. So instead of going to church, getting out of your house, walking to the car, getting in the car, driving to the church, walking around the church, sitting in the church, watching the service, walking out of the service, going home, going out to get something to eat, going home again, you know, those kind of things, like getting active. Instead of doing that, they're sitting at home, doing nothing, letting their bodies do what? Get bigger. Because you need to work your body out to stay nice and healthy. That's just putting the pieces together. So, I'm not gonna go to church because I may die of COVID. Instead, I'll stay home and stay lazy and not work my body out to burn calories and get obese, overweight, all in the attempt to stay alive. Something's not making sense. Maybe we need to wake up, get up, and worship our God. Get to church. Because the devil is still seeking whom he may devour. And if he can do it with lies, he wins. In 2005, I got the flu. How did I get the flu? I got the flu from church. But guess what happened? I recovered.